Alright, well, welcome back to the channel. Tony here. So it's been a while since I've talked about the Africa Twin, or really ridden the Africa Twin. So it's undergone a transformation. So since I did the valve check, just recently I did the valve check and replaced the spark plugs, and it seems to be running better. It doesn't have the stutter at startup, so that's a good thing. Now I do have the engine light on, because I pulled everything. I pulled the airbox, the ignition coil, I pulled the radiators, and I did a big cleanup and check and everything. And I'm pretty sure I got everything put back together. When I first started it, turned it on, it wouldn't go into gear. So then I went ahead and disconnected the battery, and I put it on a charge, disconnected for an hour, connected back up, and then it was able to shift into gear. But the engine light's still on, so I'm guessing that will probably disappear after a while. So we'll just have to see. I mean, so far everything's running. It's DCT's working, ABS and all that stuff, and it sounds good. I did put the foot shifter on because I want to have that kind of feel of shifting back with this bike. So that way it just gives me a little more thrill. So I don't need it to be an automatic. Although that's nice, but for just running around and doing stuff like this, I think that's fine. So the bike had 35,000 miles on it, maybe 36, and the valves were in spec. So that was a good thing. I didn't have to pull the cam and do all that stuff, adjust anything. I just checked it and it was fine, so I put it back together. Nothing, I wanted to learn how to do it. A lot of people are just like anti, you don't need to do it. Why are you doing it? It's not necessary. There's not a known issue, but I will say that there's quite a few people that I follow, that I trust, and have the Africa Twin. They have done the test, and they have, had their valves out of spec. So, it does happen that they do go out of spec. Is it a big issue? I don't know. I'm not going to debate that. I'm just going to debate that the manual says do it at X amount of time, and I wanted to learn how to do it, and I did it. Yes, there is always a risk, so something's not going to work right, or you put something back together, but so far in general everything's working right, and I'm just hoping that light goes away, because usually those kind of errors will resolve themselves. If not, I'll have to look into it. But I'm not getting any, the bike's not misfiring and stuttering. It actually runs a lot better now, I think, in my opinion, just because of the new spark plugs. Again, everybody says you don't need to change spark plugs, they're fine, and so on and so on, but I did notice a difference, and the main difference I noticed was on startup that there wasn't a stutter, so it wasn't surging and misfiring and just that stutter that it had. One thing I am noticing is a little more backfire. So I don't really ride this bike without a helmet, and I just rode it around the parking lot once I got it all put back together without my helmet, because I wanted to hear everything, and I was hearing a lot of backfiring, and I don't know if that's what I've heard before in the past. And I'm listening for it, and I'm kind of hearing it now, and I don't know if I've always had that. I got the Yoshimura pipe on. Yeah, I really do like the foot shifter, because it gives you the same thrill as like a quick shifter or whatever. but I stay in the gear that I want to. I'm checking everything. My temps are fine, so that's good. My voltage is fine. So we're just taking it out for a quick little run. We're going to go over to the ADV meeting, I take that back. It's now the dual sport meeting. It used to be the ADV meeting. Now it's the dual sport meeting. I'm going to go and say hi, and then I got to leave. But this just gives me a chance to ride the bike and see how she's doing, and see if I can't clear that engine light. I'm not too concerned about it. It could be a sensor. I don't know. I mean, I took this thing apart twice. So the first time I put it back together, I didn't even, I was just, it's a lot to do. I didn't plug in the throttle bodies. So I got the throttle bodies in, because, you got to take the throttle body off. You got to take the, so we're just going to stop here for a second if we can. Probably not. I just wanted to hear how the bike is running, but it feels good, and I like it. It feels different too because it's lighter. So what I mean by lighter, it's like I probably shed about maybe 50 pounds of stuff that I had on here, like the heavy-duty skid plate, which I don't need, all the crash bars. So the backfiring I hear is when I let off the gas, but and it's not every time, but I think a lot of bikes do that anyway. So I just, you're so used to hearing something, and then it starts sounding a different way, and you start like, oh shit, what's that sound? And so on. So you just got to get used to it. But I'm really liking the bike the way it is right now. It is officially retired from hard ADV for now. I know I've done that before, but not in earnest like this. So crash bars are off, all that protection. Pretty much brought it back to stock, took the high fender off, all the only thing I kept as far as protection is the radiator protection, because I figured that's a no-brainer. I want to keep that on, even when just doing, basic dirt roads and stuff like that. But that's really what this bike's going to be now. It's going to be a bike that I can, ride around, because I have the 300. So the 300's my dual sport bike when I want to do dirt, single track and some hard dual sport riding. I'm not going to call it ADV because it's not an ADV bike, as in the sense that it's not a big bike. It's not heavy metal, right? So it's an adventure bike because it's street legal and I can go places, but it's not an adventure bike like this. So not heavy metal. It's, and also, I've been wanting something fresh and new, and by doing this with this bike, it becomes a new bike to me, fresh. The look is different, and just keeping an eye on everything. I smell a lot of smells because I do clean a lot of stuff with WD-40, so I'm sure the engine and the muffler and stuff are, I did put a new, so this line down here, the line that comes from the right-hand front brake master cylinder was too short. It was too short, and it was binding down with the connection at the frame, because I've got the risers on here and that kind of stuff. So I just figured, I ordered a while back, I ordered a longer one, so that I would have a little more slack. So I like that. Flushed out my system, bleeded it, it's all back up to where it needs to be. Bike got a good cleaning. I got stickers coming, so I don't have the stickers on it yet, because I do want the Africa Twin stickers on it. So, you know, it's just a transformation, and it feels like a new bike because, you know, I've got the shifter, so now I can, you know, I can shift. I got the paddle shifters, but it's not the same thing, you know. When it's especially now that I have the 300, even though I have the Recluse in it, it's just keeps my foot up to par. And it's just something else, you know. There'll be times where I'll put it in full automatic, and you know, if I'm cruising long distances and stuff, you don't have to think about it. I can still shift. You can still shift whether it's an automatic or not. But I have it in manual right now, so I have to shift. Which I enjoy doing. But yeah, I mean, new look, new feel, new adventures, you know, so we'll see. Mostly this bike will be a bike that I'll go on trips, but will be mostly pavement, but there will be dirt, you know, there will be camping. You know, like if I go to Colorado and stuff like that, or Moab, or wherever. Got to remember to keep these tight. You know, and keep the 300 for more off-roading adventures, BDRs, and so I'll still take this on a BDR, no problem. Just throw some decent tires on it, and she's good to go. But that's it. I'm just bringing new life back to it, new enjoyment back to it, and start some new adventures. I like that I got rid of this. I'll show you later here when we stop some of the schemes I've done. I've got rid of most of the black on the plastics except for the dash. Except for the dash. So got the dash. Dash is staying the way it is with the black and stuff, but I went back with the blue. It's not a perfect match, but it's a metallic. I may look and see if I can get if I can find a closer blue, and I'll paint it before I put the decals on, because once the decals go on, that's it. That's all she wrote. So I don't think that the light will just go off on its own. I think that once I turn the bike off and then start it again, it will. So that's what I'm counting on, that hopefully, you know, I've ridden it enough and that will do that. So we'll see. You know, and I thought about putting the stock muffler on, but it's like, nah. I like the sound. It is louder on the road, but it's just the overall feel of the bike. It's just so much more responsive. That's just a audio feel. It's not a performance feel. I'm sure it might add a little bit of performance, but it's mostly an audio feel. And plus it's a lot more lighter. So again, by doing all these, getting rid of all the crash bars and heavy skid plate and stuff like that, and keeping the stock. I'm sorry, lost my train of thought. By keeping, you know, the Yoshimura on there, I'm reducing weight, which, you know, the bike does feel, I'm going to say, it feels a lot lighter than it has ever before in a long time, probably since I first bought the bike. This will be interesting. Of course, I'm right in the middle of rush hour. But hey, beggars can't be choosers, right? I wish the place that we have our meeting had pizza, because I'm kind of gotten tired of tacos and hamburgers that really aren't that good. And their wings, I mean, yeah, so Buffalo Wild Wings, yeah, so they got wings. Red Bull's got wings. I'm liking it. You know, it is still tall with the tall seat. I will set my preload so that, gotta get used to shifting. I've set my preload so it's a little bit lower for this kind of riding with no luggage or anything like that. It's just, it'll just ride a little bit lower and it's a little more stable. I mean, I don't have crash bars, so I can't screw up. But anyways, just a little bit of thoughts of, and I'll show you here in a minute when we get to the, when I get parked here, we'll do a little walk around on the bike, and I'll show you what it looks like as far as what I've done in the scheme and just visually, and some of the stuff that I've taken off and some of the stuff that I've kept. You know, all the internal stuff I've kept, you know, all the internal stuff that I've done, modifications I've kept. It's only external, like crash bars and things like that have changed. All right. So hopefully this light will go out when I start it back up. We'll see. All right, so here's what the bike's looking like right now in its new configuration. I still need to put the stickers on it, so I got rid of the high fender, got rid of the crash bars, put the stock skid plate on it. You know, keeping all of my other stuff, my horn and stuff like that, there's no sense in changing that. This is what I've painted. So this used to be black, and that used to be black, and now it's white, which I like the way it blends in with the white on the tank. How it blends in, and then I put my chain guard back on. I've added my tire irons because I do have a tube tire up front. So I got tire irons on both sides, plus everything I need to change the tire. All that stuff is in here, keeping the top box, but you can see that this used to be black, so that's now blue, which I like that look so much better. Got the stock mirrors on. They just look better than the double take, and I got the stock, the bigger screen, not the stock one. This is the bigger, but it's the Honda screen. So we'll just and you know, and I got the Baja Designs mount for the lights, and yeah, I just like the clean look of it. Get the stickers on it, and she'll be good to go. All right, let's see if that light goes out. Well, so far it hasn't. That's still there. So I'll have to figure out what that is, see if it'll clear. It's definitely backfiring more than it did before, so I don't know if that has to do with the why that light's on, because something's not. I'll just have to see what that is, because it never backfired before. I mean, it's running smooth. Actually, it's not. Something's not right. Trying to think if there's any hose or anything like that, a vacuum hose or something that I might have missed. I'll just have to dissect and try again.